I think that they tied as well. It's really difficult for me to say that there was a winner or a loser. I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree.
Maybe Martin O'Malley is the winner because he was probably used this time to watch Netflix or play with his kids.
Or come up with new stories to tell people.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I think I liked Bernie Sanders' different tack actually in terms of being a little bit more personable. This the shouting aspect which is passion, and it's interesting that whenever Hillary shouts, she's screaming.
Right.
There's that gender bias thing,
yes,
right?
That definitely.
So, but I actually liked.
I'm not saying you're being unfair.
No,
I think that
women who shout are
Hillary
screaming
Clinton,
and they're getting angry. Men who shout are passionate.
No, Elliot is absolutely right about that.
No. I get that that is a gender bias we apply to people, but that being a thing that exists does not mean that every single woman, when they scream, if you have a problem with it, that's the problem you have with it. My problem is not that she seems emotional or angry. It's that I feel like she is putting on an act.
Right, I know, but
I don't think there's any emotion.
We're not calling
there.
you out. We're calling out some of the people
So
who call her things like shrill if she's.
In answer to your question, I actually think he won through, and I think his answers, if for nothing else, his answers at the end when it was sort of the personality point.
Yeah,
I thought he was much more personable.
Yeah.
He was funny, witty. She lacks. He has warmth and he has charm and all of those things, which again I have to say I'm not she lacks. She is, and again, I think you don't think she's a fighter. She is the most tenacious person. I think she is vicious fighter, whether she can incremental or not. So I actually think I warmed to him for sure, and I thought that the tone that he took in those more intimate setting of the town hall worked really well.
Look, I think you make a really good point about how personable he is and how charming he is. I mean, he had that line about how he is Larry David, and I think everyone loved that and really enjoyed it. Yeah. So you're kind of swaying me in.
That's his viral moment.
His car moment. Chevy. It's a small Chevy.
It's a small Chevy.
It's about 5 years old.
It's a red Chevy.
It's a red Chevy.
I love him. Anyway.
On that, you do some convincing of me. First of all, let's just say it now. The national media will say she won.
Of course.
But I think she's very good in these settings, and so my sense is that initially I thought and I'll stick with it, that she won and he lost. But I mean,
By point.
Right. What do they call, John? Super selected election
delegate equivalence.
Yeah, he beat her. She won 51-49 in delegate equivalence. But his more sedate style may have actually been, I don't know about deliberate, but maybe helpful, because we've seen him angry, and it's okay to see him not angry. Like maybe that provides a look. Yeah, a different look. Now, since this was going out to this is really only relevant to a limited audience. I'm going to guess the numbers are fairly low. I mean, probably 8 or 9 million people watched, something like that. In New Hampshire, I cannot see this as making a significant change. Although, again, I think she seems credible and competent, and I think that always helps her.
But she was credible and competent a month ago.
Yeah, so my hunch is, again, but when you see two people who are credible and competent, then no one's going to win by 30. That's really, so she may have. But again, it doesn't matter whether he wins 58-42 or 55-45, whatever, he's going to win. And then every time he wins or comes close, as he did in Iowa, essentially ties, you change to some extent the viability issue. You send a signal to people, well, maybe you're not an unviable candidate. And you said to people in Nevada and South Carolina, well, maybe I can vote for him. And her enormous lead among black voters begins to evaporate. It will to some extent, and a big lead among Latino voters in Nevada will begin to evaporate. And you saw him in a debate 1 week before New Hampshire, 6 days before New Hampshire, talk twice in 2 different answers, talk about essentially about Black Lives Matter, but talking about incarceration and about training the police force and speaking directly at another time to Latino voters. So he was looking forward there to Nevada and to South Carolina.
And he did the same tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm saying tonight.
Oh,
he did,
sorry.
He did it twice tonight.
Oh, I see, twice tonight, yeah.
So,
his answers regarding Black Lives Matter and some of the disparity among black people getting criminalized for the same things that white people do was great, and I love that he touched on that. I think that he handled the question perfectly.
Right. Biggest loser today, Rick Santorum and Rand Paul.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Trump, still a loser from Monday.